Baby dolls, it is actually true for the crypto bull market. You are really rich for just 50 days. I'm not joking. 50 days is euphoria. Not exaggerating. The past two cycles, it's literally 50 days. The altcoins run for 100 days. 100, all right? That is majority of the altcoins. Not all of them, the majority. 95% of them. They run for, and I'm relatively measuring against Bitcoin, okay? So they'll run for 50 days, and then the next 50 is the euphoria. The first 50 is just the safety net part, but no one really feels like it's anywhere important because that's exactly where you are right now, by the way. Our prices today for most coins, not all, most, our prices today in all the crypto altcoins, they are exactly where they were around March 2021, those first 50 days. Okay, now listen to Ivan on tech.
146 days from the halving until the peak of the altcoin cycle. And it happens very quickly. I think Somi, or who was it that said in the recent video I watched that, everyone is poor until the last like 50 days of the cycle when everyone is making crazy gains, and then everyone is poor again. Let's actually see if this is true. But I mean, it does make sense. Let's look at.
I'll show it to you, Sven. I'll show it to you right now. Like this is, I went and checked all the charts, and it's actually true when you have a look at it. Okay, now majority of people will just look at the Bitcoin price like this. Okay, the Bitcoin price. Okay, but Bitcoin's not changing your life here, man. This is like a 2.5x. So the actual thing to look at is the pure altcoins versus Bitcoin. Pure altcoins outside the top 10, that's others. Okay, that's others BTC. And I know this like the back of my hand, friends. I remember I was here. It flipped green in Feb of 2021, and literally the peak was here. This is it, friends. It's literally 100 days. 100 days, okay? Right there. See that? Snap. And then everyone's lost everything again. Now, this was 95% of coins in crypto rallying. This was the final 5%. Okay? Now, 5%. Now, here's the thing. Rally, everything moved, but in that final 5%, that was the end of 2021. This included ones here, NFTs, Solana, Phantom, Luna. You had Ponzi DeFi like Olympus DAO. You had Hex, Time, Wonderland. Yeah, see, I know all the names off by heart. Shiba Inu ran again. I know all the names off by heart. However, you're forgetting there were like, 1,000 coins that didn't move up. 1,000. So I have survivorship bias, right? So those are the ones I'm looking at. And no matter how you spin it, you always get back to it, friends. This is 1,100 days. I'm not joking. Literally 1,100 days. Here is Feb 2021. I'm not even exaggerating. It's literally 100 days. It's not. There you go. Today it's 100 days. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, again, I'll just show you many examples of that appearing. Now this is a beautiful one for Doge, just to show you. Doge. Let's actually put on log chart because Doge went up so much. Doge did its first pop up. This is to March, Feb, March 2021. It did 25x. You see this? And that became the bear market floor, which is where we are today. But I mean, like, it looks like so big. It's literally nothing. Like, this is literally it. You have 40 to 50 days to get out. 40 to 50 days. That's it. All right. And it all comes back. Man, it doesn't matter where you look at these coins, friends. XRP, same thing. Okay. Same thing. You have XRP. Here you go. March. You actually, all you can do is you always start it from like January and then you go to the April top 2021. There you go, 100 days. Okay. There are other ones you can look at. I mean, ETH was one of the biggest ones you can look at as well. Where is January, these first 4 months, and then snap 100 days. So what I've actually done, friends, is why am I starting from that period? Well, that was the period. Why start from around January? It's because roughly around that time period, the others BTC flipped green on the weekly super trend, which is it right here. This is the others BTC. Look at it. It flipped green around Feb 2021. You see that? Now, of course, if you're new, you're like, hey, what does this indicator even mean? Remember, friends, others BTC is literally all the altcoins in crypto, the risky part of the curve as a ratio to Bitcoin. It's relative. So we plot that. And if you flip green or red on a weekly super trend, it is a very significant directional change. It is very significant. So once I started it from here and you move forward 100 days, that's where you have your 100-day pop. And by the way, it happened exactly before that. It happened literally from March, he have to June, July. Now, here's the thing. This 100 days though, friend, very important to know this, okay? In that scenario that I'm going to show you, you still eventually made money in US dollars. However, the BTC ratios peaked here, okay? And then I went through this in a whole video for you. I'll repeat it for you again, okay? This whole time, you see this period, friends, this should be like 6 to 7 months. In that 6 to 7 months, Bitcoin was shooting up and altcoins went sideways. So what can you deduce from that for your strategy? Well, it means, friends, if you get 50 to 100 days of an alt season, okay, your best bet is to take profit into Bitcoin. That's what happened. All right. That's literally what happened. So in 2016, if you took profit into Bitcoin, Bitcoin kept going up in that first wave, because it goes to $3,000 midway of 2017, and then it finishes at 20,000. However, in 2021, if you took profit into Bitcoin here, you know what happened though. Bitcoin went at 64K, stopped, dropped 50%, China scam, and then it came back to 64K. So in the 2021 example, Bitcoin did not go and break new emphatic highs for the rest of the year of 2021. However, if you saved your profits in Bitcoin, you have all your money today. You literally have all your money today. Okay, you actually see it. That's what happened, right? I mean, like, it's Bitcoin's price, right? It's come back, yeah? You can see how the benefit of being in Bitcoin was like fantastic when you look at it. I mean, you can actually see it right here, right? So if you were taking profit into Bitcoin here and then Bitcoin here, I mean, look, you've literally got everything back. You see that? Bitcoin comes back. Bitcoin is the bear market hedge. Whereas you could only have been in 3 altcoins to get your money back. Solana, BNB, Injective, INJ. 3 out of like the top 300. Think about that, 1% odds. You don't want to bank on those 1% odds, do you? Okay, so it's wonderful that we can actually go through this. So look, you know, people are naturally going to ask me, well, in the 2016 scenario, the right thing to do was to sell in Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin kept going up. In the 2020 scenario, our last bull market, the right thing to do was to sell in Bitcoin, but Bitcoin didn't go up in USD price. It dropped 50%, and then it just came back for a break even. However, the philosophy is still the same, and the principles are still the same, which is you protected your wealth by holding Bitcoin. That's it, okay? In 2017, sure, it kept going up, sweet. But in 2021, it didn't, but at least you have your purchasing power. That is the most important thing to learn from all of this, okay? Bitcoin, friends, it's storing value, right? The meme is very powerful. Now, friends, you know my 50-day formula thing? So what is a 50-day? It's not even a real formula. It's just, okay, if by mid-August this year, around that time point or whenever, if Bitcoin is like shooting up at, you know, $70,000, $80,000, that means we are literally repeating the cycle 1 for 1. And I'm not even kidding, okay? You know what I'm going to do as well? You know our others BTC? I'm actually going to add the Bitcoin price chart so we can try observe what was going on this whole time frame, okay? So we can actually see it. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to change the Bitcoin price so it's orange, so we can actually observe what was going on. Now, this is where it's going to appear, okay? So you see that, friends? This is, we have the others BTC. This is the 2016 cycle. And we just have the trust, right? This was Bitcoin basically breaking its all-time high here. You see how altcoins, friends, flipped green in Marchy? This is March. Look where Bitcoin is, though. Bitcoin's at its all-time high. See this? This is $1,200 on the far right. You can see it here. And then Bitcoin goes up and up and up and up. You see that? And smack everywhere. Interestingly enough, you see this point where my mouse is right here? This is the ETH BTC ratio top up. So they actually move exactly in line. Okay, but it's not the end of the game. However, ETH BTC tops out. And it's still never gotten there. But it was in the end. See how they move in sync? Okay. So I'm also going to show you, let's go to actually another period. Let's go to our period, which happened in this cycle. So you can see it right now. We can see that if we get this right now, we can see Bitcoin. Look at this green part. What I'm going to show you. See this green part? This is the others BTC ratio. It flips green. Look when it flips green though, friends. Feb 2021. Look at where Bitcoin's price is, man. Bitcoin is freaking, oh, this is actually crazy, man, to think about. I did not know, like, this is wild. Bitcoin is $46,000. So Bitcoin is, remember, it is like double, almost. Is that, yeah, man, it's almost double the freaking top. That's wild, actually, when you think about it. Look at this. I'm going to go down here, right here. Oh, wow, Bitcoin's $53,000. Whoa. That's big information, man. So in the last cycle, all right, now we have a formula. In formula, okay, we don't know. In 2016 cycle, the altcoins flipped green when Bitcoin just broke its all-time high. So it broke it for like the second time. It went to $1,200, okay? So it matched the all-time high. In the 2020 cycle, though, 2021, our last bull market, the altcoins flipped green, others flipped green when Bitcoin was double the all-time high, almost triple. 2.5 times. Wow, 52K. That's nuts. So what's going to happen with us? Well, it technically could mean that if we go to our one now, you see where, look where orange is now. Bitcoin is $66,000. Yeah. Others can flip. Look, Bitcoin it could go down and then come back up by the end of the year. Others flip green. Or Bitcoin can just go up to like, man, if it could go up like 110,000. And then finally the altcoins flip green. That's a possible scenario. But really, at the end of the day, you just got to hold no matter what. You just don't know. You have no idea. And remember, the others BTC in 2016 scenario, the earlier one, that was really bullish because you had Ethereum in it. Ethereum was like a unicorn being birthed out here. So once you've overlaid this, you get an idea of what to expect. I mean, it would kind of make sense, friends, if Bitcoin rushes to 100 and then they distribute around there and then we get a big alt season wave. And then that's alt season wave number 1. And then when we're done with that, like 50 days later, it's over. And then we do the capitulations or the wipeout. And then Bitcoin goes for leg number 2 later on throughout 2025. Maybe Bitcoin goes to 150K in that one, hopefully 200K. And then it does another final alt season wave number 2. What I'm describing here for you is exactly what these waves would look like up here. Up the very, very top, because that's pretty much what happened here. So this might be Bitcoin 100K, Bitcoin 150K. Just guessing, right? Just guessing. But what I tell you once again, don't bank on guessing the narrative right, especially for the second alt season wave, because it's going to be probably new random stuff that we don't know, or just new coins themselves. You have no idea. Okay, it's going to be, yes, it's going to be very, very wild. But if you're holding older dead stuff, that's what happened pretty much in the past. The older dead stuff could only get enough momentum pretty much as Bitcoin broke the all-time high emphatically. Now, it might be Bitcoin 100K this time, but yeah. But in a nutshell, you might see Litecoin, Monero, XRP have like they're just one rush. Oh, Bitcoin's 100K, let's get in. But then it can't finish itself off for the rest of the other ones. Now, of course, made the assumption that it does exactly 2 waves again. All right, wave 1 and wave 2. It doesn't have to do that. It can just do slow ones and then just have one big fat wave, right? Or it can have like 1, 2. What if it even shocks us that there's a third wave? Wow, just to pay up for the sins of the past. But yes, after seeing all of this, it really is a small window, friends. I mean, I remember from Doge, XRP, everything you see, it's a 50-day window, man. It's a 50-day window. And if you're seeing all of these things happen, you really got to be careful. Because, you know, not all the coins come back to their March price and stop. All right, so pretty much here, look where Stellar was in March. It was 38 cents. All it could do was a 2x, and then it came back down. And this was, Stellar was still 38 cents by the end of the year, and it's pretty much game over. Still hasn't come back. But that's Stellar. I mean, if you look at something which got a lot of hype, like Phantom back then, look at that. Phantom, it came back to the March price. Look at that. It went up 8x at the end of the year, and then came back all the way down round trip. Okay, it came back to the March price, okay? So, I mean, there's many, many, many examples we can look at. They all tell the same, tells you the same story. Yeah, pretty much, friends, look. The formula is when others finally flip screen, okay? Just know that historically, we can only run for about 100 and something days. That's it. 100 and something days. So anything after day 50, you basically got to start taking out profit. Almost like if you told me, hey, you must make a formula. You have to make a formula. What would you do? It would literally be, all right, after day 50, you got the next 50 days, you got to sell 2% per day. Literally. Sell 2% per day. But also, you got to remember, like, if you were selling 2% per day, like you let your Phantom, right? Look at this, friends. Phantom goes up. I remember holding this all the way up here. Man, that's crazy. Did it do like a 60x? That's nuts. I think it did more, man. That was huge. Phantom goes up. Wow, that was like 30, 40, 50x. Around this zone here, so this is March. You are pretty much selling like 2% every day. That's pretty much it. The 50 days, there you go. You're selling at an average price of 42 cents. However, you have to live with the fact that it can go to $3 and then, yeah, it comes back down to that 22-cent zone. But don't anchor to that. That's euphoria. You know what I mean? That's euphoria. Like, you're not gonna look at Litecoin, for example. Litecoin wasn't one of the unicorn winners. If you started selling your Litecoin 50 days after this day 5, look at this. You look like a genius. Okay? You look like a genius. What about Doge? That's also interesting. Doge, remember? Doge, yes, you look like a genius selling 2% every day. That's sweet. You sell it all around here. Bang, bang. You sell, just keeps going up. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You're going to get an average price. I know, it's tough. What about, see, friends, the unicorn is the one that pretty much makes it hard to live with yourself, because here's Hex. Okay, and if you look at Hex, if you go to Hex here and look at where it was in March, which it was around 1.2 cents. Here you go, March, 1.2 cents. Yeah, if you're selling at an average price of 1 to 2 cents, yeah, you're not going to feel good when it goes to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We don't know, man. We don't know. It's, look, the truth be told, the formula, look, if you have an old coin, the odds of you really thrashing it for the whole cycle, very low. It was only new coins that were able to do this, okay? Like, I can even show you, here is Axie. Remember Axie Infinity? Yeah, Axie Infinity, friends. Remember, it was cycle 1 coin here. Look where it was in freaking March. $7. And then it goes to $160 again. Oh my gosh, that's another 20, 30x. So that might be it for us. Maybe you're analyzing things like Chainlink or any others. That's the formula. And of course, don't forget, friends, don't forget. Okay, looking at these, it's important you remember it's not about the USD price just itself. Remember, it's the BTC ratio. So what I'm about to show you now is very, very, very important. Okay, friends, this is the climax of my whole video for you. Do you remember I showed you Phantom? Remember we just saw Phantom? Phantom, you know, you sell it like 40 cents. It goes all the way to, oh my gosh, it goes to $3 and stuff. Okay. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to show you Phantom versus ETH. Okay. Phantom versus ETH is right here. Look at this. Okay. What I'm actually going to do now, friends, I'm actually going to add the Phantom USD chart price. And I'm going to show you how much of a discrepancy it had. All right. Now, this is very, very, very important. I'm about to tell you. All right. So you see our Phantom here. See this orange line of Phantom? See how Phantom goes from here. This is actually like 90 cents, goes up to $3. Remember, you're selling at an average price here. Okay. You're selling at like 40 cents. It goes all the way up here to $3. You're like, oh no, like I missed out on like another 7x from here. But if you charted against Ethereum, okay, so what I'm going to do is now just remove the USD price. If you chart against Ethereum, you're selling around here. Look how much it goes up only. Now, it's still quite a bit. All right, it's about 4x. But it's not like a giant number. All right, it's diminished. You see what I mean? It is diminished. 2 to 3 to 4x. And by the way, you weren't going to sell up here anyway. Like, you'd be looking at these numbers, 2 to 3x. So on the surface, you think you've missed out on a lot, but actually you haven't. Actually, what ends up happening, if you chart it against ETH, you get to see that you avoid a lot of the damage by rotating profits into core Bitcoin and Ethereum. But this formula is not so perfect all the time, because you have Hex ETH, for example, Hex versus Ethereum. Look how low you would have been selling in that March period down here. See that? Look how low you would have been selling. You would have sold down there. By the way, I was buying down there. Okay. And then you missed out on a 24x. But that's Hex, special case. All right. So looking at all these, there's no like 100% proven statistical thing that you can do. There isn't. But if you start to see mania, Coinbase App Store ranking moving up heaps, and if you're just questioning things, you're like, oh man, I'm so scared of it ending right now. If you start catching yourself like that, you can't go wrong with like a 50% BTC, 50% USD profit taking. You just can't. You can't. And remember, if the bull market does continue, there's going to be money to be making buying other stuff. There will be. Okay, so just remember that. 50% BTC, 50% USD. But, you know, maybe you want to punt a bit more on ETH. Maybe you got some ETH in there as well. Okay, the BTC, maybe split it half ETH, half BTC. So you always remember that. That's pretty much what it comes down to. If you are absolutely scared of missing the bull market run, like you're so petrified that you're going to miss it by selling, you could just do all BTC or all Ethereum, pretty much. That is very, very important to look at. Because if you have this fear that you are going to get a 2017 style Bitcoin, which is where Bitcoin just continued the whole way, and I have it right here. So what I'm going to do now, friends, is just show you, when we're talking about the Bitcoin fear, what you can do is add ETH BTC chart right onto this, and you can see it right now. See this blue part here? Look, ETH BTC peaks up here, friends. But look where Bitcoin's price is, 2,500. Because Bitcoin ends up going from 2,500, it freaking runs up to 20K. But this is like, man, this was like early tech. This is crossing the chasm for tech adoption, okay? But if you're absolutely scared of that, so what would that be in our scenario? Well, it would be like a scenario where Bitcoin goes to 100K. Let's actually draw that right now. It's actually very interesting. We can look at that right here. Let's actually see what it would look like. And I actually remove ETH BTC chart so it looks clean. So if Bitcoin goes up to 100K and you have altcoins that have gone nuts, okay? Now you know, well, all right. It could be over from that point. It could all be over. Or what about it keeps going? You're very scared of that scenario, aren't you? Taking profit into Bitcoin means even if it drops 30% to scare everyone, okay? If the bull market is still on, Bitcoin's going to recover first and probably go to that fib extension of 150K. And at that point, friends, when Bitcoin stops, it'll have its second wave. Now, you don't know what the narratives are going to be. That's why everyone's guessing. But that's where you really have to just be sharp with yourself and go, okay, you understand the game now. Remember, this scenario is like, if you wanted to just do, you're like, man, I'm so scared of Bitcoin going above 100K one day. I don't want to risk it. Okay, you have full-on BTC at that point. But if you're full-on BTC as well, you like, yes, if Bitcoin drops from this point down to here, you can still deploy your BTC. Maybe you want some USD on the side as well. But to be honest, you don't lose that much being in BTC, because if it's going to continue, you're going to get a slingshot lottery. However, you got to still pick the right coins, okay? So there you have it. You got to witness it right now, right? Seeing how all of it comes to this final critical 50 days, this euphoria burst up. Like everyone's rich. There's 50 days, right? Feels rich, feels like, oh, it's about to happen, and then it's all over. All right. So if these play out again, just remember those, man. You can't go wrong with this BTC and USD split. And if we're going to get multiple waves out, you absolutely can't go wrong taking profit into BTC. Because really, friends, a lot of narratives will appear and everyone's going to believe they're on the right one, okay? And yeah, don't cheat your bags early either. Don't think like, oh, I'm super scared of something happening. Yeah, man, like we're just going to have to take an honest look at many other coins moving and really accept where our price valuations are for the stuff we're in. It's going to be very hard for people to do that, but guess we'll find out. Okay, like, subscribe, bell button, all. Catch you soon.